Just because everybody else has put limits on their life and everybody else has settled and everybody else has accepted their reality for what they are given doesn't mean that you can't have a completely different life.
Okay, here's the truth about becoming a new version of you. There's a lot of people in your life that depended on you to be the old version. There's a lot of people who you were people-pleasing because of the old version of you. Now, here's the cold, hard truth. As you continue to evolve and transform, the dynamic of your relationships will continue to transform and evolve as well. This is why we have to become okay with life just basically crumbling at some point, because everything's going to match the frequency that you're at. Well, if you're on this journey of self-growth, of self-development, please don't think that your relationships are going to stay the same. My advice, continue to grow, because as something is taken away, something more supportive, more aligned will replace it.
When your voice chimes up and starts talking you out of that is your signal to act immediately. If it's telling you to take a break, you go do double the work. If it's telling you every time you hear it, you need to take action, because action is the only thing that will squash that voice permanently.
Every day is a battle because your mind wants to choose the path of least resistance. Every day. But you don't become better by ever doing that. You become normal. The mind's like, I want to be in charge of you. I don't want you to be in charge of me. Your mind takes control of you. You have to say, you, I run this motherfucker.
You have complete control over the way you feel, over the way you respond to any situation, and over the things you think about at any minute of the day. Whenever you feel negative for any reason, wait a minute, I am responsible. I am responsible.
But you only grow by failure. I failed at so many things I can't even begin to describe to you. I failed over and over and over again. But each time I failed, I learned lessons. I learned why I was not good at this. I learned that this is not something that I was destined to do. There's something else for me. So coming back to people's fear of trying things, it's only by trying and failing that you're ever going to learn.
This is about giving more than you take. Nothing worth having comes without loss. And nothing lasting is earned for free.
I think the first thing a person needs is they need a dream. You gotta have a dream. I don't know how people survive in life with any kind of peace or happiness or fulfillment without having a dream. A dream needs to be something that there is a possibility of fulfilling. Otherwise, it's not a dream, it's a fantasy. But you need a dream. And don't be afraid to dream big. You know, the saying is that if your dreams don't scare you to death, they're not big enough. Your dream needs to be bigger than you are right now.
There's a specific person that you've got to get out of your life right now. It's the person that wants to remind you of who you were. It's the person who wants to remind you of how you used to be, what you used to do, how you used to do it. That used to person's dead. Anybody who wants to resurrect that person cannot be in your life. There is nothing more important than getting people out of your life. They want to pretend you're the person you were yesterday. They want to act like you're the person you were yesterday. You're evolving, you're growing, you're advancing. You need to be focused on you right now, and anybody that wants to bring you back, anybody that wants to pretend you are the same person that they knew 1, 2, 6, 7 years ago, get them the hell out of your life.
Trajectory. Focus on your trajectory. You can't keep living in this all or nothing mentality where you have to do the perfect set of perfect things in the perfect order, just like that guy you follow on Instagram does. That guy's full-time job is personal development. He gets paid to sit in a cold plunge. You don't. You are going to make mistakes. you are going to mess up. So if you have that all or nothing mentality, when it's not all, it's going to be nothing. You're going to be the guy that gets one flat tire and then gets out of his car and slashes the other 3 simply because he doesn't have 4 perfectly inflated tires. Makes no sense. The measuring stick is not, am I perfect? The measuring stick is, did I get closer to who I want to be, or did I get further away? Am I moving in the right direction? Am I going down the right path? Focus on path over perfection.
You're doing this for you. And this is something I've only realized relatively recently, but after a certain level of material comfort, the only person that you need to do this thing for is you. Your conscience knows when you're being honest and when you're not. I think optimizing to make that person happy, that conscience happy, is a really good idea.
What if problems were always gifts? What if every single problem really was a gift in your life? What if every problem you ever had was life happening for you, not to you? What if everything in our lives was guided? What if everything in our life was divine timing? Everything, even the pain.
What are you gonna do when no one's watching? Are you gonna operate to your standard, or are you gonna cut corners? I can tell you this, dude. I try very fucking hard to operate in my standard all the time, 24 hours a day, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching, because that's when you actually gain more of the discipline and strength that you need to uphold those standards. I think every single fucking human should have a set of core values and a mission statement and a vision for their own lives. And most people don't. Most people just go along with the flow. They swing into someone else's vision and they stay there for a little bit, and they swing into someone else's for a little bit. And then they get to be older in life and they're like, why the has nothing worked out for me? Well, the reason nothing's worked out for you is because you don't live what you say you're about. You don't have a plan for yourself. You don't have a mission statement for yourself. You try to cut the corners when no one's watching. Bro, you'll lose that way. That's just it.
It's always harder, takes longer, and costs more than you think it will. It makes sense because if it did it, then everyone would have it. And if everyone had it, then it wouldn't be worthwhile. And so if it's hard, that's amazing because it will make you that much harder once you conquer it. And it will also make it harder for anybody else who wants to follow in your footsteps. And so the higher up the mountain you climb, the thinner the air gets, and the rarer the climber or explorer must be in order to get there.
If you can survive temporary pain, on the other side of temporary pain, you will meet another version of you. Every time I wanted to quit, I didn't make a decision to not quit the rest of my life. I made a decision not to quit for one more day. One more day, just don't quit. One more day, hang up.
People who win are disciplined about winning. They don't just casually take a look at this. They don't just casually try something. They jump in with both feet because they absolutely intend to win at it. And that's going to require discipline and consistency on your part. As you start to study, you're going to learn things. You're going to learn the skills that you need. That's going to require discipline on your part. All of which, by the way, you can learn any of these skills. You can learn anything, but you're going to have to be disciplined.
There's this revered master who everybody wants to study under, and it's almost impossible to get to him. And so he's interviewing candidates. And the aspiring samurai comes to him and says, how long will it take me to be a master? And he says, 10 years. And so then the young samurai, eager to kind of prove himself, he's like, well, what if I work twice as hard and I work day and night to become a master? How long will it take then? And so the master sits back and looks at him and says, 20 years. The young samurai is like, wait, what? How can it take twice as long if I'm working harder? The master replies, if you have one eye fixed on your destination, then you only have one eye left to find your way.
But I think what's truly important is the ability to detach yourself from the outcome. It is one of the most important things that I have adopted in my life. Set the goal, know where you want to go, know where you're aiming, and then let it go. It's possible, in fact, it's probable and likely it might take you longer to get there. And so what if it does? If it does, you're still making forward progress every single day.
It's really important that we understand that better is not always visible. You can be getting better and it not be public, Because very often, private victories will precede public accomplishments.
Most people never pick up the phone and call. Most people never ask. And that's what separates sometimes the people that do things from the people that just dream about them. You gotta act. And you've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to crash and burn. You know, with people on the phone, with starting a company, whatever. If you're afraid of failing, you won't get very far.
You need discipline. You need personal discipline. There's times when you don't feel like doing what needs to be done to get this. But you got to say, feelings has nothing to do with it. This is my dream. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do the things that I don't feel like doing. I'm going to do the things I don't want to do. I'm going to do the things that don't come easy to me, that do not come natural to me. I'm going to get up and do it. You can't live your life on feelings.
Loneliness. It's a feeling we all experience, though it's rarely something we talk about. When it creeps in, it can feel overwhelming, suffocating even, as though you've been cast aside, forgotten, or left to face the world alone. But here's a thought. What if loneliness wasn't something to run from? What if instead it held the keys to a deeper understanding of yourself? Loneliness is often misunderstood. It's painted as emptiness, as a void that needs to be filled with people, noise, or distractions. In reality, loneliness isn't the absence of connection. It's the opportunity to reconnect with yourself. And in a world that's always pulling you in a million directions, solitude is a rare and powerful thing. We live in a culture that glorifies being busy, being surrounded, being plugged in. We equate a full social calendar or an endless stream of notifications with a full life. And when that quiet moment comes, when the noise fades and the distractions stop, loneliness feels like failure, as if being alone somehow makes you incomplete. That's the misconception. Loneliness isn't about what's missing outside of you. It's about what you have yet to find within yourself. When everything else is stripped away, when the spotlight dims and the crowd disperses, you're left with the one person who will always be with you, yourself. And that's where the real work begins. There's a reason so many of life's breakthroughs happen in the quiet. When you're alone, you're forced to face the parts of yourself that are often buried under the noise, the insecurities you try to ignore, the dreams you've been too afraid to pursue, the questions you've been too distracted to answer. Solitude gives you the space to reflect, to feel, to grow. It's in those quiet moments that you start to see yourself more clearly. Not the version of you that you present to the world, but the real you. The one with doubts and fears and flaws, but also strength and resilience and untapped potential. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It doesn't happen when you're surrounded by constant validation or external noise. It happens when you're willing to sit with yourself, to embrace the discomfort of being alone, and to use it as a chance to understand who you are and what you want. Silence has a way of bringing clarity, of stripping away the distractions and revealing what truly matters. In solitude, you can hear your own thoughts without interference. You can tune into the voice inside you, the one that gets drowned out in the chaos of daily life. What is that voice telling you? What dreams have you put on hold? What truths have you been avoiding? Loneliness doesn't just leave you with questions. It gives you the space to find answers. And those answers, they're the foundation for the life you're meant to create. Instead of seeing loneliness as a problem to solve, try seeing it as a tool to use. Use it to reconnect with yourself.
The ability to be comfortable in your own company is a rare and powerful thing. It means you're not afraid of the quiet, of the stillness, of the moments when it's just you and your thoughts. It means you've built a foundation within yourself that doesn't crumble when the world around you shifts. When you learn to value your own company, loneliness stops feeling like a burden. It becomes a choice, a time to recharge, to reflect, to reconnect. It becomes a reminder that you are enough, exactly as you are. Here's the reality. The time you spend alone is never wasted. It's where the most important growth happens. It's where you learn what you stand for, what you value, and what kind of life you want to build. Loneliness can be painful, yes, but it can also be transformative. It can teach you resilience. It can help you find clarity. It can show you that your strength doesn't come from the people around you. It comes from within. If you're feeling lonely right now, don't run from it. Sit with it. Embrace it. Use it as an opportunity to grow, to reflect, to reconnect with the person you're becoming. This is your time to build something extraordinary, not outside of you, but within you. Loneliness isn't the absence of connection. It's the space where you rediscover yourself. And in that space, you'll find everything you've been looking for.
Do not ever allow anyone and anything put you in a conceptual box. There is no you must become this or you must become that. You can become everything as long as the mind is free and it's not preoccupied with any ideas of the parents, of the government, of the society, of the advertising, of the propaganda, of anything like this. The free spirit, whatever keeps the free spirit alive. This is, I think, there are just institutions and systems existing in this world right now. They are not made to make you bigger. They are made to keep you small. They are not made for you. They don't want you to free think. Because free thinking, meaning you could possibly tap into the idea that there's a huge potential about you.
Life is about losing. As we get older, we lose our hair, we lose our teeth, we lose our mothers, our fathers, our sisters, but it's the ones who overcome their lost in life, could shun away adversity and always willing to fight it every particular moment in life, are the ones that are able to transcend and be able to spread the word to other people who's in that same particular genre as they are.
Everybody gets one chance to do something great. Most people never take the chance, either because they're too scared or they don't recognize it when it spits on their shoes. This is your big chance, and you shouldn't let it go by.
Failure is resistance. Failure is a test. Failure is an opportunity for you to learn from, get up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. And if you're not willing to do that, your future will not be as bright as you want it to be.
I'm not saying you have to love the work. Muhammad Ali, he said that I hated every minute of training, but I told myself, suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion.
It's because you're ambitious, but you're lazy. You keep getting stuck in the same old habits and you remain stagnant. You can't make any progress. Why is that? It's because you lack belief in that you will win. If someone came to you and told you that if you do X, Y, and Z, you will guaranteed get the outcome that you desire, you would do it because there would be no chance for failure. So what this tells you is you don't believe in yourself. You think that there's a chance that you will fail, but let me tell you something. You see, it doesn't really make sense. You simply cannot fail as long as you show up.
If you're going to step out from what you have always been into something new, you have to be prepared to cut all of the old out, because all of the old will constantly be in your ear chirping, making you doubt, making you question, making you slow down, making you hesitate. And all of those qualities will keep you from becoming that thing that you're trying to become. That version of yourself that lives inside of your heart that nobody else even knows about because you're too afraid to talk about it, because you're afraid everybody's gonna laugh at you. That's the thing you're supposed to become. Whatever that is, that's what you're supposed to become. You need to listen to that.
Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't you, so you can be who you were meant to be in the first place. I think unbecoming is the greatest form of growth, because I feel like you're always unbecoming. I feel like, as a matter of fact, to a certain extent, you're doing more unbecoming than becoming. Along the journey of development, along the journey of accomplishment, you're always unbecoming.
I think you can become confident in any skill by just doing it so many times that you get bored of doing it. And as long as you don't let your first failure become your last failure, then it wasn't a failure.
Stop waking up with some victim story. I watch so many individuals that tell me, I want to be successful. And then they come up with some piss poor story of why they're not there. The only person holding you back is you. And I watch too many people wake up every day saying, as long as somebody tells me, as long as somebody holds my hand, if somebody could just do this. Wake up every day saying, it's up to me to make things happen. And time is all a construct. There is no element that you have to say, maybe in 10 years. Things can happen magically in an instant. We can take quantum leaps into massive action in abundance and result. But the reality is there's an internal transformation that must happen before we see an external realization. And if you're not somebody that's sitting there saying it's up to me and I get to design and let the universe align with that design, I am getting in the way of my success. So as you wake up today, tomorrow, the next day, I want you to wake up with a blank canvas and a pen, and I want you to draw exactly with detail, exactly what success looks like, exactly what you're calling in, what network, what relationship, what tools, what resource, what money, what job opportunity, what situation you get to step into because you hold the pen. And as I challenge you to do this, I want you to watch as miracle after miracle starts to happen, and don't be the interference for that.
Life isn't about handing what you want on a silver platter. It's about shaping you into the person who can handle it. Every setback is an invitation to grow, an invitation to show up stronger than the person you were yesterday. You can't build the life you want while staying the same person you've always been. Growth demands discomfort. Healing requires honesty, and progress asks for patience. So believe me when I say you're being prepared for the things that you asked for. Keep showing up, because on the other side of this test, your transformation is waiting.
This lie that we tell ourselves about things waiting till tomorrow will ultimately cost you everything. You never start tomorrow, you always wait, and then you end up with a mountain so big you don't even want to climb it. So what's the answer? It's to do it now.
How many New Year's resolutions are you still working on? It's the middle of January, and according to US News and World Report, 57% of those who set resolutions have already abandoned them. And by the middle of February, 80% of those who set New Year's resolutions will have quit completely. Why? 3 things hold us back and detour our progress: influence, timing, and expectations. You see, when we set a New Year's resolution, most of the time, we try to hold on to the past while we're ushering in the new, and that can't accomplish what we need to accomplish. When we set New Year's resolutions, don't you think it's to our best advantage to also set new relationships in place, new positive influencers in our lives who will hold us accountable and encourage us? to take that step forward, to up-level our behavior and make sure that we're walking on higher ground. Yet, too many of us set these New Year's resolutions and never revamp or recalibrate our relationships. You see, trying to hurt me by bringing up my past is like robbing my old house. I don't live there anymore. But how many of us fail to understand that there's a man in the mirror, a woman in the mirror experience also calling our name, where we must stop living in the past because we say so and stop living in the future because we say so. Eliminating that old person, that old attitude that brought us here today.
So what I want to challenge you as we go into the new year is to be willing to fight a little bit. Get your fight on a little bit. Listen, life doesn't give us what we would like to have, what we wish for. It doesn't even always give us what we dream for. It'll give us what we're willing to fight for. And I believe you and your life and your spirit, your journey, your existence, your story is worth fighting for. I believe the people around you who would benefit from you becoming this next best person, those people are worth fighting for. I believe the people in your life who have sacrificed for you, maybe it's your parents, maybe it's your grandparents, maybe it's your ancestors, I don't know. Those people are worth fighting for. They're worth honoring with the man or woman you're becoming. And settling is not an option in our lives. Settling is such a scary thing to do. And if you've been in that mode for a while, your past doesn't equal your future. You can make a shift at any given time in your life and decide, I'm going to become a new person.
People think when they get to a certain time of the year, there's this magical day when life resets, and it's our opportunity to go after things that we've been putting off. Saying, I don't have time right now, or I don't have enough time, or I'm not prepared, or I need more time, or all these different things we put off what we really want to get after. And we wait for this one magical day when we think we're going to restart and refresh this part of our life. And we resolve that we're going to do all of these things. And resolve is just a fancy word for decide. So we resolve we're going to do all these things and make them happen. And what happens is we resolve, and it doesn't take very long for that resolve to dissolve. Instead of waiting for that one day that's really no different than any other day, we should be deciding the things that we want to do, deciding the things that will make us better, that'll help us grow, that'll get us to where we want to be. Decide those things and then set a goal. Actually commit to it by setting a goal, putting it in writing, a very specific decision, a specific place that you're going to get to. We set that goal and we get after that goal by making it very specific. And then we make it measurable quantitatively so that we can see our progress in that goal. And then we track that progress and we set a deadline by which we're going to complete this goal. And we start growing and accomplishing the things in our life by setting these goals. And as we're working on these goals and looking at these goals on a daily basis, we write a corresponding positive affirmation that tells our subconscious mind we're already there. You see, we start telling ourselves we are the person that we want to become, and our mind, our subconscious mind, will help us get there. To resolve just means to decide, but if that's all we do is decide and then don't follow it up with any kind of action, that resolve will dissolve. Set your goals, make your commitment, become the person you want to be by not just deciding, but putting it in writing.
And if you're feeling darkness, maybe it is a time of rest. Maybe it is a time of renewal. Maybe it is a time to re-energize. Yeah. Maybe it's not about rushing towards the light. Like if you stayed up all night going, I can't wait for it to become light again, you're not going to get any sleep. And so sometimes we're in a bad place and we're just like, I can't wait for it to be light again. As opposed to saying, well, let me lean into this. Let me lean into what this is asking of me and asking from me. And maybe there's something to gain here as well.
You're alone. You're alone. You may have a shrink you're going to, you may have a best friend you're going to, but there's 24 hours in the day where you're alone in this brain. And your brain is talking to you in all kinds of ways. And it wants to control you, pull you in these different pockets. If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over.
So I'm starting today by building a non-negotiable standard for myself, which I've come to realize is the only way we can ever grow and improve. When people say no one's coming to save you, they're not talking about how no one's coming to help you reach your goals. They're talking about how no one's coming to save you from yourself. Because without standards, man, we always lose direction and we always fall back to our lowest automatic systems. Binging, procrastinating, clinging to comfort, and the fucking worst one of all, dude, lacking the desire to change because it's just too difficult and discomfort is so distasteful these days. So when I'm out here in the morning, it's not about mileage, it's not about pace, not really. It's about creating a rhythm and creating a standard and a certainty in a world of uncertainty for how I want to see myself throughout the day. And now I have this new energy that I'll bring to everything else I do.
And that no matter what happens or how bad it seems today, life does go on and it will be better tomorrow.
It's dangerous to dwell on past mistakes because people sort of define themselves by the worst moments that they've ever had. You gotta get through failure. It's very important. And you get through it by just picking yourself back up and moving forward and going.
You know, there's one place that all the people with the greatest potential are gathered. One place, and that's the graveyard.
The number one regret of the dying is they didn't take risks. They didn't become their ideal self. And I think that sometimes people hold off braveness and courage because they don't want to risk failure and they don't want to risk shame. And I think you got to risk it.
You need to decide what you want. You need to decide what you want to be remembered for. You need to decide what your legend will be.
So many people live in their head, they go to therapy in their head, they go in circles and nothing changes because it just becomes a circular conversation. And so what do you got to get yourself to act? Well, to get yourself to act, you have to get yourself in a state where you'll do it. So you can take anything and make it represented in your mind as difficult or easy. And the way we represent things is the way we feel. Experience life, you experience life you focus on. If I'm focused on what's wrong, my life is wrong. If I focus on what I love, my life is love. It really comes down to, yes, the way you represent the world is the way you experience the world. So if I feel, what's life? Oh, it's a test. Well, then what's life like if it's a test? Well, if it's like a test, then it's hard and I gotta study and I could fail. Or someone say, then life's easy because I'm good at tests. Or is life a battle? Then those people always are looking for someone to fight with. They expect there's gonna be a fight. It's always a struggle. And they find a way to make it a struggle. Is it a gift? Like however you represent life, it'll change completely what you're feeling and what you're doing.
Let me tell you something. You listen to me and listen to me closely. Success doesn't come to the most intelligent or the most talented. Success to come to those who are the most hungry.
And there's a thing in your life called momentum. And if you're stuck in your life, it's because there's a lack of momentum in it. Momentum takes average, ordinary people and makes them appear to be superhuman. You have to do really difficult and feared things first. So if you could start to build the habit of doing feared things first and difficult things first, if you can survive the temporary, on the other side of temporary pain, you meet another version of yourself. And I have found that in my life. Most people avoid pain and discomfort, and that what happens is they never create any momentum in their life.
But for people with a growth mindset, the brain becomes most active when receiving information about what they could do better next time. In other words, people with a fixed mindset worry the most about how they're judged, while those with a growth mindset focus the most on learning. There are other consequences of mindset. People with a fixed mindset see effort as a bad thing, something that only people with low capabilities need, while those with a growth mindset see effort as what makes us smart, as the way to grow. And when they hit a setback or failure, people with a fixed mindset tend to conclude that they're incapable. So to protect their ego, they lose interest or withdraw. We observe that as lack of motivation, but behind it is a fixed mindset. Whereas people with a growth mindset understand that setbacks are part of growth. So when they hit one, they find a way around it.
The journey to success comes with a lot of what? Failure. So why the don't you teach yourself, like I've taught myself, is how to fail properly. You're gonna have to learn how to get up extremely fast because you are gonna have a million setbacks on this journey. And that's how I literally taught myself how to fail first.
If you've forgotten the language of gratitude, you'll never be on speaking terms with happiness, right? Like, what are you grateful for? Every single day, just slow down, right? Like, what are you grateful for, man? Right? Because it recalibrates and puts us in the space and place that when I'm grateful, I learn more. When I'm grateful, I'm a little bit better, right? When I'm grateful, I listen a little more. When I'm grateful, I'm more in the moment.
Belief comes before ability. You're not always born with the ability, but you have to believe before you have the ability. And if you believe, you have the ability, and then you have the courage to take action on that belief and that ability, then you can start moving forward. That is momentum. Momentum is potential. It's not guaranteed success, but it is potential.
We become people that only care about the outcome, then we lose ourselves. Marcus Aurelius gives us a very nice idea on how to find the good. He says, to the lover of glory, it is the reactions of others. To the lover of pleasures, it is his own passive experience. But to the intelligent man, it is his own action.
You have to be delusional. Franz Kafka once said, by believing passionately in something that still does not exist, we create it. The non-existent is whatever we have not sufficiently desired. Embrace the power of your dreams, for they have the potential to shape your reality. Let your desires guide you, fuel your actions, and manifest the life you envision.
Don't listen to anybody. Don't even listen to me. You already know what you need to do. It's in you. It's talking to you all the time. You downplay it because you think you're not experienced, or you know you're not experienced, so you're scared to listen to yourself. But you know you. Your soul knows you, and that's what you're listening to in your head. Trust it. Trust your gut. Go with your first instincts. You can't lose. Words are life. Speak things into existence and create your universe. Protect yourself with your words. The universe is listening.
Destiny taps us on the shoulder and is it going to find us ready? Are we going to be there in our finest hour? And the answer is most people don't. Most people turn away when destiny calls. We let things get in the way. We know what we're supposed to do. We know what we want to do. We know what the right thing is to do, but we don't do it. We let other things get in the way. Courage calls, but we ignore it. But what history needs, what the world needs, what you need is to answer that call and not let anything get in the way.
You're about to win big. And I have key signs that you're about to win big, because you've been doing the work, you've been staying faithful. Listen, you're about to win big.
Our definition of a winner is someone who never let losing stop them. And the idea that a single loss in the competition is somehow a defeat is completely insane. Let's say you're a good player and you lose the tournament. It's like, well, so what? You played the game. You're increasing your skills. Life isn't a game. It's a series of games. And the right ethic is to be the winner of the series of games. And part of that means learn how to be a good loser, because you're not going to win every single game. Because to be a winner, you want to be disciplined. You want to know what you're doing. And then you want to be on the edge where your skills are being developed. And if you're going to be on the edge where your skills are going to be developed, you're at a place where losing is always a possibility, because otherwise you're not pushing yourself beyond your current capacity.
So what if you fail? So what if you have to start over? So what if it doesn't work out? Yeah, it's nice when your efforts pay off, but some things are just meant to teach you about the process of hard work. They're meant to humble you at the fact that sometimes you don't get what you want, but you can still be satisfied knowing that you left one less stone unturned. Not everything is supposed to lead to success, so just stay the course.
Like, a good example of this is when people talk about hitting rock bottom. When you get to a point where you really can look at yourself objectively and think like, oh, shit, what have I been doing? Like, that's a state, that's a mental state where you are very prone and you have a very high potential to be able to say, okay, I can't do this anymore. I got to change something.
You deserve your breakthrough. You deserve your next level. You deserve your healing. Stop discrediting yourself and give yourself some damn credit. Everything you've been through, you survived through. And I'm gonna just tell you right now, everything that you're going through, you're making it through in this moment. Give yourself some credit. Man, if somebody would have saw your story, your movie of your life, they would have been counted you out. Everybody who counted you out, even yourself, and you're still here and you're worth it.
I'm not saying I don't care about you. I'm not saying I don't care about these hard times that you go through, but most people do not care. The very small window in life that you have to succeed is not just gonna stay there. You have to put in the work despite how you feel. And guess what? If you just so happen to do that, that is how you build toughness.
Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant and gorgeous and talented and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you.
When you watch a movie instead of doing your work, that's called instant gratification. You feel really good while you're watching it, and you're happy you're not doing your work. But when the movie's over and you're alone, you realize that you don't have that thing to show for it. You don't have that work that really lasts. Nothing is achieved without some perspiration. Nothing. Anything that is worth anything. If you really want to be successful, you have to work at it.
And that's why you have to continuously have that inner dialogue and bring yourself back, you know, and remind yourself that things are exactly as they're meant to be. Release the expectations, forget the picture of how I think my life needs to be going at this specific time, and just live in this moment, right? And as you continue to just take steps each and every day, trying to make the most out of what you have now, you're gonna start evolving and growing into new seasons, into new opportunities, into new phases, right? And you're gonna reach points where one day you look back and you're like, wow, I actually had to go through that to get to where I am now. And I realized that that was happening for a reason.
I think we'll always have our daily battles with fear, but what letting go is and learning to let go is and really bringing ourselves to a place where we can truly begin to navigate these seas is we have to change our foundation. Some of us have a foundation of fear. It's our home. It's our go-to. It's what we always go back to. And I've been there. And when we learn to let go, what we're doing is slowly cracking that foundation, digging it all up, and replacing it with the foundation of hope and faith.
The best piece of advice that I ever received is that you are what you think about. Everything that you think about, you become. You become what you think about. Thoughts lead to actions. Actions lead to behaviors. Behaviors leads to lifestyle. Lifestyle determines your destiny. So everything begins in the mind.
It's not on everybody else. It's on you. You have to make things happen. Nothing is going to be given to you. You cannot have any part of your mind that thinks, oh, someone will just do this for me. You cannot have that in your mind. You have to do things yourself. You have to create things. You have to make things happen. You have to do it yourself. No one's going to give it to you. No one is going to give it to you. And this doesn't mean you have to take from someone else. You have to build for yourself.
We all have this voice. It's the right or wrong voice. A lot of times that voice guides us into comfort. My voice guided me into comfort a lot. But I have this other voice I heard my whole life say, hey, Rucker, what are you doing? We gotta go over here where nobody's at. That's where victory's at.
Imagine walking out the door a loser. I'd rather die. I would rather die than be that loser guy.
Think about that. You want to walk out that door a damn loser, or do you want to walk out the door a winner? Like, you know, I'll fight to the death. And sometimes if one goes to death, it sounds crazy, but you got to give it that much. If you want results, otherwise you'll be like everybody else. The majority of the population, they think they're praying hard. That was fun.
I found that I never found a single person who was successful who was not excellent at what they did. That competence, the commitment to becoming excellent in your chosen field, is an indispensable prerequisite for success. That if you are not good at what you do, you haven't got a chance in our competitive society unless you win the lottery. That success is predictable if you commit yourself to becoming excellent. It does a whole lot of other things within your mind, but if you commit yourself to becoming excellent, it changes everything about you. You must commit yourself to becoming the best. And the wonderful thing is that excellence is a journey. It's not a destination. You never get there. Complacency and satisfaction are the key enemies of excellence. But once you commit yourself to becoming excellent, the whole world opens up for you. This means simply this: do your best every time out and always strive to do it better. And what we do is we get to 90% done, and then we start to drag our heels. We start to put the paperwork aside. We start to think of excuses. We start to do what is fun and easy rather than what is hard and necessary.
This is it. This is the year that changes everything. And understand, the path to actually making progress and genuinely changing your life is quite simple. If you win enough days in your week, you win the week. If you win enough weeks in your month, you win the month. If you win enough months in your year, you win the year. And if you win enough years in your decade, you win the decade. You win enough of those, well, congratulations, you simply beat life, right? But understand that everything is fully dependent upon the actions and the decisions that you take today. So choose your actions wisely.
I've been doing this for 2 years, I'm burnt out. Then you ain't got it, bro, okay? Because this is a long sprint. You are sprinting as fast as you can for your whole life. And you can't get around doing the work. And you're not gonna figure out how to do it. You're not the first person in the world that's gonna figure out how to do it without doing the hard shit and putting in the time. You are not going to do it. So you have to ask yourself, is this the life I really want? Do I really want to pay that price? And what am I gonna get for it? What's it gonna cost me? Like, bro, it ain't for everybody. There is a reason it's rare. And the reason it's rare is because it's incredibly difficult. And it takes a long time. And it has to be the focus of your day, every single day. It'll punch you in the face 1,000 times in a row and not give a how bad you're hurting.
2025 is your last chance to become the person that you strive to be. This is it. You don't get another chance after this, because eventually you have to break the cycle, my friend. If you keep telling yourself you're gonna be something, new year, new me, right? Same person. This can't keep happening. We gotta break the cycle. Otherwise, we'll never break it. The more time goes on that we exist within this dreadful cycle of stagnation, the harder it is to get out. You know, you gotta develop some sense of urgency here.
You must get serious about two very important things. Number one is setting your goals and where you want to go. Designing the next 5, the next 10 years is so vitally important. What do you want to do economically? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be? What would you like to have? What would you like to share? How much would you like to earn? How far would you like to go? Those are some major questions to ask. And for that all to work out like you want it to for the next 5 or 10 years, in my personal opinion, you've got to get serious.
There's so much knowledge out there, so much information, so many ways to get better. And we make so many mistakes. We're the product of our mistakes. And oftentimes the lesson is sitting there right in front of our face. It's there to be learned, but we miss it, or we don't pay attention to it, or we think we know better until it punches us in the face. And the most important thing to learn is that we have so much to learn as far as regrets and things I wish I would have done differently, of course. Hindsight hindsight is 20/20, and looking back, of course, who wouldn't want to take another go at something? The fact is, you don't get that chance. You get one shot at this gig right here. Life. One life, and that's all you've got. And regret, in and of itself, it's worthless. It does nothing for you. In fact, the only valuable thing in regret is the lesson you learned, the knowledge that you gained. But walking around filled with regret gets you nothing.
It's all about mindset.
Yeah.
That's it, man. You have to change the dialogue within your head. And one thing I guarantee you, there's some stat out there about January 1. All that kindling that you started, all that motivation, usually burn out by about 10 to 12 days later. So let's see how far you can take that shit. Usually it's 10 to 12 days, man. People always come to me, man, hey, I want a workout program. I no longer give them anymore because you're gonna waste my fucking time. Because I know most people out there, once that one alarm clock goes off, the wrong time of the day, I'm not going to the gym.
All this new year, new me bullcrap can stop right now because it is the same exact you with the same exact tendencies and the same exact defaults in your mind when times get tough. A society-wide marketing campaign is not going to change you for the better because if it was, it would have worked last year. The best day to start looking to make serious changes is the day you least want to do it because that's exactly what it's going to feel like when all your motivation wears off. So either look to genuinely change the way you think through endless effort, or don't even bother with the idea of a new you.
It's January 1st. Nothing has changed. This year's not going to be your year. You're not magically any different because the calendar switched from December 31st to January 1st. You're still the exact same person that you were the day before, with all the same tendencies and all the same temptations and the same bad habits that you try to avoid. You're the same person. The only way this year is going to be your year is if you treat every single day the way you treat January 1st. If you treat every single day like a brand new opportunity to improve upon the person that you've been with the same intensity and the same intention and the same focus that you bring to January 1st, there's no doubt that this year will be your year. And every subsequent year after that will be your year. Because who you are and the way you execute is not dictated by a calendar. It is dictated by your decision to act.
It's a blank slate, a brand new year. Everything that happened last year, every win, every loss, every lesson brought you here. And that's exactly where you're supposed to be. 2025 isn't about waiting for the right moment. It's about creating it. You don't need permission or a perfect plan. You just need to decide right now. Decide to bet on yourself. The best year of your life doesn't just happen. It's built day by day and choice by choice. This is your year, not because it's guaranteed, but because you decided it will be. So make it the best one yet. You got this.
Every ambitious person who wants to do something in their life or has done something in their life has gone through the exact same chapter you're going through right now. And it's the lonely chapter. It's the chapter where you don't fit in with your old friends, but you don't have the achievements to fit in with a new group of friends. And you're doing everything you can, the free tutorials online, you're reading everything you get your hands on, you're going through it and you're thinking to yourself like, is this going to be worth it? Is this actually going to work? Because you're seeing no signs of success, but the signs of success are the hate that you get along the way. And what you can't do is bend your knee to their hate and try and go back and conform because it's comfortable and it's warm. Because you know deep down you can do more than this, and you begin to see the person that you could be, and you realize how far you need to go. But despite how far away it seems, you look back down that dead-end road and know that's not where you want to be. And so you keep going.
Fail big.
Today is the beginning of the rest of your life, so do what you feel passionate about. Take chances. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. Hard work works.
Life has a way of making you feel small. When things go wrong, when you're struggling, when you've lost something or someone, when everything feels like it's falling apart, it's easy to believe that your circumstances define you, that the storm around you isn't just something you're going through, but something you are. But let me tell you something. You are not your circumstances. You are not your failures. You are not your heartbreaks. You are not your mistakes. You are not the job you lost, the relationship that ended, or the dream that didn't work out. These are things that happen to you. They are not who you are.
And yet, when life gets hard, it's easy to let those things become your identity. You start thinking, I'm the person who messed up. I'm the person who can't get it right. I'm the person who always loses. But those thoughts, they're lies. Lies that your circumstances whisper to you in the dark. Lies that keep you stuck in a version of yourself that you don't have to be. Here's the truth. Your circumstances are temporary. Who you are is not. Think about that for a moment. No matter how bad things feel right now, no matter how heavy the weight you're carrying, it's not permanent. Circumstances change, seasons change, life moves, and when the dust settles, when the storm passes, you'll still be here. You'll still have the chance to choose who you want to be, no matter what you've been through.
But separating yourself from your circumstances, that's a choice you have to make. The first step is to acknowledge where you are without attaching it to who you are. Yes, things might be hard right now. Yes, you might feel lost or stuck or broken. But those feelings don't define you, they're just part of your experience. And experiences, they come and go. Think about it like this. When you're in a storm, you don't become the storm. You're still you, standing in the middle of it, waiting for it to pass. Your circumstances are the storm, but you're the constant. You're the one who gets to decide how you respond, how you endure, how you grow.
Here's the thing. Your circumstances are just facts. What gives them meaning is the story you tell yourself about them. If you fail at something and tell yourself, I'm a failure, that's not the truth. That's the story you've created. The truth is simply this. You failed at something. That's it. That's all. But the story is powerful. It shapes how you see yourself, how you move forward, how you live. So if your story isn't serving you, change it. Rewrite it. Instead of, I'm a failure, try, I'm someone who learns from their mistakes. Instead of, I'm broken, try, I'm someone who's healing. The story you tell yourself about your circumstances is yours to write.
When life feels overwhelming, it's usually because we're focused on all the things we can't control. The past, other people's actions, the unfairness of it all. But here's the thing. You don't control your circumstances, but you do control your response. You can choose to stay stuck, or you can choose to move forward. You can choose to let the pain define you, or you can choose to let it teach you. You can choose to focus on what you've lost, or you can choose to focus on what you still have. Every choice you make is a step away from your circumstances and toward the life you want to build.
If you don't want your circumstances to define you, then start creating the life that does. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to fix everything overnight. You just have to start. What do you want your life to look like? What kind of person do you want to be? What values do you want to live by? Start there. Start with one small step, one choice, one action, one decision that moves you closer to the life you want. And remember this, the life you're building isn't just about where you're going. It's about who you're becoming along the way. The person who refuses to let their circumstances define them. The person who chooses hope over despair, action over excuses, growth over stagnation.
Your circumstances don't tell the whole story of who you are. They're just one chapter, one season, one piece of a much bigger picture. And that picture, it's still being painted. You are not your struggles. You are not your pain. You are not the things that have happened to you. You are the person who keeps going, the person who gets back up, the person who refuses to give up, no matter how hard it gets.
Never quit. Finish the race. Ever heard of learned helplessness? It's a psychological phenomenon that can happen from quitting too often. You quit once, you quit again, and then it becomes habit. Your brain learns that quitting is an effective way to avoid discomfort or difficulty, and it becomes a go-to response in challenging situations. It's all to do with the way the brain processes rewards and reinforcement. When a behavior is rewarded, the brain releases dopamine, which reinforces that behavior and makes it more likely to be repeated. In the case of quitting, the reward is the avoidance of discomfort or failure, which can be just as powerful a motivator as a positive reward. When faced with this dilemma, you must change the narrative in your mind. Bring it back to the intention. What was the intention? Well, you entered the race, so you intended to finish it. Go get it done.